wrong message. There's this idea out there that we associate exercise with increased pain, and that's because we've been told over and over again that no pain, no gain. And that's completely wrong, because pain equals no gain. And that's important because of the elephant. Remember the elephant in the room, as we've talked about, the elephant is the emotional side of human beings. Well, whenever we cause the elephant pain, it actually stampedes away. So all of our training of the elephant to try to get it to go down the new path goes right out the window when we cause it pain. So we need to be aware of that and get rid of this idea that no pain, no gain is actually wrong. It's actually the worst possible thing we could do when we're trying to get into a fitness program, when we're trying to start a new program. It's what's wrong with diets, right? Think about a lot of the diets people try. They're painful diets. You eat horrible foods, or you eat hardly anything and you're starving. That's never going to work, because the elephant's not going to put up with it very long. So we can get short-term gains by doing stuff like that, but long-term it actually hurts us more by not paying attention, by not realizing that elephant is so instrumental in this whole thing. We cause the elephant pain, we lose the elephant. And when we lose the elephant, we lose all of our power, all of our strength. We're left with the little rider on top, or our analytical side, trying to coax that elephant to go back in. So that's why our programs are set up the way they are, where we can increase slowly, gradually. The first most important thing is to come in consistently, not to be caused lots of pain. So this whole idea of ignorance is bliss, there's actually the phases of grieving, and I don't know if you've seen these before, but this is well documented in psychological research, that when somebody goes into a grieving process, they go through the stages of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then acceptance and action. So when you look at this, I think this is exactly what happens to us on a health standpoint too. Most of us live in denial. We're out there in the world going along and not really paying attention to our weight, to our health, to our wellness. And then all of a sudden one day, either we get sick, or the doctor tells us, that, hey, you've got this chronic disease now from not watching your weight, not staying healthy. Or it's the anger that comes up when somebody says something, or you see a picture of yourself and think, what in the heck? That's a terrible picture. That's a wrong angle. That can't be me. Once we get to that point of anger, we're mad and we don't want to accept responsibility, right? We're just mad at what's happened. But then we get into the bargaining state, and this is the whole, trying to bargain with God or whoever, that, hey, look, help me out with this. If you only help me with this, then I'll stay with it, I promise. It reminds me of that scene from a Burt Reynolds movie where he's swimming out in the ocean. He decides to kill himself. He swims out in the ocean. As he gets out there, he decides he doesn't want to, so he tells God, hey, get me back to shore, and I'll gladly, change my life. And as he swims, he gets closer and closer. The closer he gets to shore, it goes from 100% of changing his life to 50 to 25, and then when he's up on shore, he's laying there gasping for breath, says, I'm going to keep my end of the bargain, God, and I'm going to try. So that's when we start bargaining. We bargain with ourselves too. Once we realize, hey, I need to lose weight, hey, I need to get better health, we start bargaining that, well, if I'll do this for this long, or I'm going to try this. And then some depression kicks in there too. Once you start down the path, right, it starts to think, okay, I'm excited, I'm ready to do this, and then you start to realize that this is going to be a longer trip than you thought. So we got to get through that into the acceptance phase of we are where we are, and the only thing we can do is take action, which is congratulations to those of you who stepped up and are taking action. But just realize that this is a journey and a process. It's not going to be an instantaneous fix. We didn't gain weight. We didn't get sick instantaneously, so we're not going to lose weight and get healthy instantaneously. So it goes back to that chart we talked about before that's in the book about what is your specific body weight right now? And how much exercise are you getting? How many minutes a day of exercise do you get? And what kind of exercise are you getting? And then how much additional activity are you getting per day? And then the next step beyond that is, what is the ideal? Where do you want to get to? What is the specific weight? And again, I'm a big believer in weight ranges, not an actual number, because with water changes and stuff, it's really hard to stick with an exact number with body weight. But it's more, what's the ideal body weight you want to be in a range? You know, a 5-pound range is pretty good. And then also, not so much about weight, but it's, you know, belt sizes or dress sizes or something tangible that tells you, regardless of my weight, this is what I want to be. And then with this newfound knowledge of the time we found that we can take away from some of these other things, TV, social media, all these other events, balance it up. Now we have additional time to do exercise, to get activities. But it becomes important to know, what activities do you enjoy? What kind of exercise do you enjoy? Because those are the things that are going to stick longer. So make sure that when you're going to do activity, that you're doing something that you actually enjoy doing, not that you feel like you're forced to do. Although initially when you're in working out, I'm sure that's hey, I don't really feel like doing this, but you hang in there and do it. It changes. We notice that at about 6 to 8 weeks is when you really start to change, where it's kind of becoming ingrained to go to the workouts, to go to the clinic, that you start feeling like, oh, and I can do this. We built our programs so that they feel more like that from the beginning, that you know, I can actually accomplish this. So that's what the main goal is. Because what the big part of this whole thing is, how do you close the gap? How do you close the gap from where you currently are and where you want to be, or your goal? You've got to come up with, there's a gap there, or we wouldn't have the pain, or we wouldn't have the desire to make it. So we've got to come back with closing that. And how you close that is through committing to do daily activity, either exercise, activity, daily nutrition, following that meal plan day by day, meal by meal, and just being mindful of what you're trying to do. Realize, you know, when it's time to go for that walk, and those thoughts pop up in your head that you're too tired, or you're not ready, or there's a billion other things pulling your direction. Is that the subconscious popping up, or are you really mindful of, no, this is what I'm going to do, and even though I need to get there through this little trial period, I just need to go and do it. So make the workouts, get the activity done when you can. Follow that nutrition and meal plan. The closer you follow it, the better results you'll see. And then as things come up, talk to your coaches or ask me, you know, hey, this is what's going on. Is there something around it? There's days where you just don't feel as good, or something hurts. Let your coaches know that. Let your coaches know that something's not feeling quite right, and make that little modification. Because it's more important to go and do something than to say, well, I'm not going to go today for whatever reason. So make sure you're hitting all those workouts. And again, that's just making sure that you understand that there's the compression of the old, of the past and the present, and a lot of people get stuck in the way it is. So in order to do this, we've got to make sure that we separate those back out, and you see that there is an opportunity here to change the present and thus change the future. You don't have to be locked in the past and what's held you back before, what's limited you before. That's the past. So keep that separate. You can learn from it, you can acknowledge it, but take a different path and get to where you want to get. So with that, let's take a quick look to see if we have any questions here. Any quick questions? I know that was rushed because of my technical difficulties. For some reason, it wouldn't let me on the air, but I'm glad I was able to make it in. And hopefully you all learned a little something today. Keep going with those workouts. We've got coming up, you'll be seeing the flyers about the February 21st. We're having the Pathway to Healthy Heart seminar. So if you haven't seen that and registered, please do that, because the docs are, we got a lot of top-notch doctors that are going to be there, and it's limited seating, so I think that's going to fill up fast. So if you're interested in going to that, we got Dr. Tommy Lee, Dr. Sam Singh, Dr. Bill Baker, the dietitian's going to be there. It's at Memorial Hospital at the Founders Hall. It's going to be a half-day seminar on February 21st. So make sure if you're interested in that, you get scheduled early. Also, we'll start drawing for the weekly prizes, so be ready for that. And then we're going to be handing out t-shirts to those of you still going strong in the 4th week, and we're excited to get those out and rolling. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending. I apologize again for being late. We're getting my technical difficulties worked out, and we'll see you all next Tuesday if I don't see you at the gym working out. So with that, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.